Greetings, ladies and gentlefish, and welcome to this Tier 7 game in the American Tier 7 heavy tank, the T29, courtesy of The Only Q. This is a subscriber replay. Now, he's called The Only Q, but because I'm lazy, I'm going to simply refer to him as Q throughout this video. This is an assault game on Sand River, and Q is on the defending team, and he is initially going to go over to this eastern flank, towards the 8, 9, and 0 lines. There's a variety of positions over here that you can use to go hull down in the T29, and a hull down T29 is basically Fort Knox. Now, there is an artillery piece in this game, which is important. The T29 does not really like artillery. However, it's only one artillery piece, could be a damn sight worse. It's also only a tier 5 artillery piece, could be a damn sight worse. And it's the AMX-13AM, the French tier 5 artillery piece, which doesn't get the biggest gun in the world. Also doesn't get a particularly good gun arc, so it's not a horrific situation. Now, Q is moving up towards where this jumbo is, the M4A3E2. And he's going to use the ridge line ahead of him to go hull down and shoot all of the bad guys. Now, he's taking a bead on this E25, doesn't wait for that shot to fully aim, takes it, does damage. You could argue on the one hand that not waiting for the shot to fully aim was perhaps a mistake, but the flip side is one would really want to prioritise getting into position, and therefore don't necessarily wait for the shot to fully aim. Having said that, he was a little bit delayed getting into position anyway, so whatever you think. Now, they've already lost one guy in the T37, the light tank, but Q is about to use a very interesting position. I'm not sure if he uses it initially, but he will be using it just over by those rocks. And he's even communicating with the rest of his team. Yes, I know, a team that communicates. Good lord, whatever next. Now, see this gap in the rocks? That is the view that the enemy gets. That's not really a view that anyone wants. Now, this isn't the perfect position because Q can't really use very much of his gun depression there. And so as a result, his commander's cupola is still exposed. It is still possible for the enemy team to put shots into that, although they would need to be good shots. But, hello IS2. But, it does, nonetheless, it is a position in which Q can effectively go hull down on that ridgeline, which is really nice. And he's also swinging the turret round. He's just trying to engage that Tiger and the VK over to his right-hand side. Now, he does have to be a little bit careful of people putting shots. Oh, he could have spent a little bit of... he could have taken that shot a little bit earlier to put it in. And an Easy 8 manages to knock out his gun using, I think, high explosive. I would assume the Easy 8 is therefore using the 105mm howitzer. That was a bit unlucky. And he takes damage for his trouble. Now, I think Q could slightly reposition his tank here, so that he was still engaging these guys, but maintaining a more effective hull-down position, and also not exposing his side to as much fire from the left. That was a Hellcat that put a shot in there, but nonetheless. So if Q were to go a little bit to the right here, I think he could poke the turret round and engage these guys more effectively. So having repaired his gun, because the E8 knocked it out, the E8 fires more high explosive at Q and knocks his gun out again. And you can see there Q typing in chat, "Stop it!" Because it's really annoying when people do that. So, basically the rest of this game, Q is going to be taking an awful lot of snapshots. Because damaged gun. Go figure. But anyway, he's just having a look over to his left-hand side to try to not take any more shots in the side. He comes over the rise to put shots into those fellows. He could probably have tried to find a shot on the E25 instead, and it would have exposed less of his tank, but he manages to make it work anyway. There's the IS-2 from earlier on, and there is that damned E8, and he takes a shot in his right-hand side. Now, he's lost a bit of health at this point. Some of it was kind of unavoidable. As I say, I think a little bit of it he could have positioned better, but, you know, them's the breaks. There's a VK. There was a VK. Bye! Scoreline is 4-4. Now, because this is an assault game, there's less than 4 minutes left. The game is over half. Over. There were too many overs in that sentence, but never mind. There's a Tiger. Yes, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. The Tiger knocks out his gun. We've been here before. And thus, he can't even take that shot at the Tiger, because gun knocked out. Oh dear. Hello, Mr. Tiger. Low damage roll, alas, leaving the Tiger on 44 health. He would have needed a slightly high damage roll to take the guy out, but that was very low. Less than 300. There's a Sherman. May or may not be the Sherman in question. There's 2 easy 8s on the enemy team. And I expected the one who's been knocking his gun out to be using the little stubby 105 howitzer, but that Sherman was clearly using the 76mm gun. Oh well. Anyway. Trying to find a shot on the IS-2, but there is a rock in the way. Turret bounces a shot. Hello, Mr. IS-2. He does aim this shot and manages to set the guy on fire. And he burns to death, but he does take shots in his side for his trouble. Now, again, I think he could be a little bit more careful about his positioning, just to try and avoid taking those shots in the side. But, whatever, it appears to be working. So, there's the other Sherman. And can we get a look at what gun that guy is using? He is using the short little stubby 105. So I haven't actually checked the names, but I reckon that was the guy who was knocking Q's gun out all the time. He manages to put another shot into Q, but Old Stinky, which is a great name by the way, in the friendly Easy 8, polishes the enemy Easy 8 off. Q would have reloaded to take him out himself, but, you know, the help's appreciated, and he thanks the guy in chat. It's nice to see people being polite and communicating with their team. It's also apparent that Q is running a damage panel of some description as a mod, because there you can see in chat he's going, I've done 4k damage. And with this gun, the damage really can rack up very quickly. It can be very satisfying to use. So, due in no small part to Q shooting all of the things, the scoreline is 10-9. There's only 2.5 minutes left of the game. Now, the friendly team could still lose this game, so they do have to be a little bit careful. But it is currently in their favour. Here's the other Easy 8. Were the 2 platoons? No, they weren't. So I always look if I see 2 tanks that are the same in a match. I always look to see if they were in a platoon. Sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. Friendly team loses the T43. Q doesn't bother aiming that shot and takes the Easy 8 out. And the Easy 8 in question has the good grace to say, good game in chat. This was a very well-mannered game. I'm very impressed. So, IS, Jagdpanther, Dickermax, and the artillery. Q is on 178 health. Any of these guys could end his little adventure here. But there's only 1 minute 30 left on the clock, which means that we are now past the stage where a single enemy tank can win this game by capping. You need 90 seconds, sorry, you need 100 seconds to win the game by cap, which is 1 minute 40. IS. He does bother aiming the shot, but you know, damaged gun, still manages to kill him. The T29's gun is not especially accurate at the best of times, and this is definitely not the best of times. So, Jagdpanther, Dickermax, AMX13AM, there's 45 seconds of the game left. This game is won. It's just a matter of whether these guys and whether Q can pick up a little more damage before the game ends. And alas, Jagdpanther manages to nail Q.
30 seconds left.
But it doesn't matter too much. There's 30 seconds of this game remaining. And Q says in chat, well, that was the best game I've ever played. 15 seconds. There's only the 3 of these guys left. And Q even says, "Great work, team." And of course, as this is a defense game, the enemy team have failed to kill all of the allied team or capture the base. Thus, the friendly team, allied team, wins by default. So, there was a nice little game from Q in the T29. Now, you could of course argue and say, that was nothing. Q was just lucky. A lot of those shots he didn't even aim properly and they still went where he wanted them to go and did damage. Well, yes, you could argue that point. You could also argue the point that Q was also incredibly unlucky to have his gun knocked out not once, not twice, but 3 separate times during that game. So, I think it's swings and roundabouts a little bit. In the end, he did what he needed to do, had a damn good game in the process, racked up an awful lot of damage, and was pivotal to his team's success in that game. Now, another reason that this is an interesting game is that if you total up all the damage that Q dealt, blocked with his armor, and received, it was over 8,000. In fact, I think it was actually over 9,000, which means that this game would have qualified him to complete Heavy Tank 15 for the Stug IV. So if you want to see what a game looks like at tier 7 that completes Heavy Tank 15, look no further than this. You can do that mission at tier 7, but it does require, generally speaking, quite a special game. Anyway, thank you Q for sending that one in. I hope you guys enjoyed that game. Possibly found it vaguely informative, just the information knowing that you can do Heavy Tank 15 at tier 7 for instance. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please feel free to catch some of my other videos and or subscribe to my channel, and I wish you very happy hunting on that battlefield. Ciao ciao.